Okay, so I'm going to provide some commentary on the video of me playing these drop two shapes. And the video is basically divided into two parts. It's how to find drop two shapes in the first part, and then the second half is how to practice, like the spacing between shapes. So let's just get started. So we're looking at A flat major 7 root inversion. How I'm looking at it is the bottom 4 strings. In a 6-string voicing, the bottom 4 strings is the basis for how I name the chords. So the root inversion is on the bottom 4 strings. You'll see soon that the third inversion is on the top 4. 1, 5, 7, 3. That's 1, 5, 7, 3. That was 7, 3, 5, 1. So like a drop 2, you drop the second interval ascending and you throw it up an octave. So it's not 7, 1, 3, 5. It's 7, drop that, and you have 3, 5, 1 up top, okay? Here I'm just showing you the same chord played up an octave. The octave I'm choosing up is 2 frets and 2 strings higher. Okay, so that's it right there. The high E and the low E, they play the same fret. High and low E, same fret, and then the A string and the B string play the same note. So on the A string, if you're on the 6th fret, the B string, you're going to play the 4th fret. So there's a 2 fret difference, right? But it's in the opposite direction of the other octave relationship you might be thinking of. Those 2 octave relationships are crucial. So the B and A string have to play the same note, and then the high E strings have to play the same note. In the case of E, it'll be on the same fret. So we take the shape up here. The shape up here, we have to match the note on that high B with the low A. So I have to tap it. And that's just first inversion played on the middle 4 strings. First inversion played on the bottom 4. So first inversion on the top 4 set. So because first inversion is on the top 4, you will have a drop 2 on the bottom 4, and the drop 2 on the bottom 4 will be second inversion. Match the B and A string. So this drawing, it says I'm playing it on the 5th fret. You can play it down there. Right now I'm playing it as 18, 18, 17, 20. 18, 18, 17, 20. I'm playing it 12 frets above where I said you could play it. So same chord. Okay, and you can see here you have second inversion up top and third inversion down low. So you see that relationship of whatever inversion you have on the bottom 4 set, on the top 4 set, your inversion will be, I think it's one inversion behind. So if you're at root position on the bottom 4, top 4 will be third inversion because you're one behind. If you're second inversion in the bottom 4, top 4 will be first inversion, one behind. And now we're back at third inversion. in the top 4, you can see that every inversion that I'm finding on the bottom 4, I'm just throwing up an octave. And by throwing up an octave, I mean throwing up 2 frets, 2 strings higher. Okay, so that little run I just did, that is basically the end goal. You want to be able to switch positions or switch inversions without having to think too much about it. You want to just have it ingrained in your muscle memory so that when you're maybe soloing or when you're writing, you have the freedom to sort of move shapes and then you have a new frame of reference. So what I'm about to show you next is how I go about practicing it. So what I do, so we did everything in this lesson on A flat major 7. To learn this, what I do, A flat is on the 4th fret of the bottom E string. And I want to learn the inversions, in this case, sweeping across them, covering the whole fretboard, right? So I care less about technique here. So I mean right hand technique. I care less about that. I care more about conceptually understanding where are the jumps intervallically between the inversions. So in the case of major 7, how a major 7 is built is you have your bass note, your root note, and then a major 3rd above you have your major 3rd. A minor 3rd above that you have your, I'll move my hands down, a minor 3rd above that you have your perfect 5th. And then a major 3rd above your perfect 5th is your major 7 interval. So that's 1, 3, 5, 7. So, and I should say a half step or a minor 2nd above the major 7 is your root. So to get used to that, what I do is I'll ascend through all the inversions, go back to the original version 12 frets above, and then descend and go down. When I get back to the 4th fret, I play the next inversion, meaning if I started on root inversion, I go root, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, up to root, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. I don't hit the root again when I go back down. I hit a 1st inversion major 7 chord. I don't care what the chord is called in this case. In this case, if I do that, it'll be an E major 7. It doesn't matter. What matters is the distance intervallically between the inversions. So I know that I'm playing a new major 7 chord, and so I just go from what inversion am I on. So as I'm playing, all I'm thinking about is what inversion am I on, what comes next. So it's difficult at first, but basically the end goal or the purpose of this is to build up the speed at which you can think about these things. That is essentially like the hardest thing about improv is you want to just build the speed at which you can think on your feet. So if you're, thinking in terms of like modal shapes or pentatonics or caged or drop 2s even, you want to be able to speed up the rate at which you can think about the chord tones. So, or at least the key you're in, depending on whatever it is you want to target. The chord tones is where the money's at. So, basically what I'm doing here is, like I said, I start at root, go up through all the inversions, up to root, down, and then I start on a 1st inversion of a new chord. Up through all the inversions, go back up to 1st inversion, down, now I start in 2nd inversion, all the way up, down, 3rd inversion, all the way up, down, done, okay? I'm doing this on the 4th fret so I can sort of play off the dots. I had Wes Hauck as a teacher temporarily, and Wes Hauck told me that when I was practicing, don't play things in the key of G or A or E or anything that is dot friendly. So the key of A flat is nice because it really gets you to just look at the distances between the frets as opposed to the dots. Guitar players find that more difficult, I think. This method doesn't just apply to major 7. Obviously, you can use this for all chords, and you should. I'd say you have a chord mastered. The standard should be you have a chord mastered or well enough to use on your own. Once you can play it between 100 and 120 BPM, you're fine. In this video, I'm pretty sure I'm playing it at 100 BPM. I got the headphones on and I'm listening to a metronome as I was playing this. So if you can hit 100 BPM, you're fine. Unless you're using these sweeps for like a song, that you have a specific part you need to play, there's no reason to push it beyond just because at that point you're really focusing on right hand technique. If you can think at 100 BPM through 6-string sweeps, 16th notes, you're fine, So if you want to push it faster, do it, but 100 to 120 is generally a pretty good baseline, I'd say. So without further ado, this is what that exercise looks like. Okay, so that is the lesson. That is how you find the shapes, and that is how you practice the shapes. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And I might, in post recording this, I might add more explanation, whether it's in text or more video explanation. Okay, thank you so much for watching. And next week's lesson is my favorite lesson to do, and I really look forward to getting there. So bye, guys.